Hello, Diane Thompson here. I'm going to talk about a subject a lot of people have been lied to about, and that is, should you eat bread or should you not? So I am Diane Thompson. I'm a registered dietitian and a healthy living coach. And as someone who's lost 30 pounds and kept it off for 30 years, I have a little experience around this topic. So let's explore what eating bread, why you want to, or why you want to eat bread first, right? Yeah, so bread has been made out to be a demon. It really has, right? There's people out there that are saying you should avoid it at all costs, that it does all these terrible things for you. And so we're going to really explore if that's really true or not. So let's look at longevity, because anytime you make a decision around to totally exclude certain foods, you really want to look at the evidence, the long-term evidence, okay? And one of those is, do people who eat bread, do they live longer? Well, it just so happens that they do. And I always refer back to the blue zones, because the blue zones are areas in the world, 5 of them, where people live the longest and the most quality types of living. Because, what if you live to be 100 and you live in a nursing home? What value is that? At least in my opinion, right? So excuse me. So you really want to explore what's going on. And here's one of the zones. Icaria, Greece, eats a lot of bread. But let's talk about, so is it really the wheat, or is there something else? Is there something going on with how we make bread today? Okay, so let's look at that. Let's go back to the wheat, which is one of the ingredients to bread. So wheat has changed dramatically over the years, okay? The breads and the wheat that you and I are eating are far different from what our grandparents ate, okay? So what are some of the things that we are doing that maybe has changed the integrity of that wheat and made it not a not so healthy food? Okay, well, one of those things is that we have genetically modified the wheat. Okay, so yeah, it's been genetically modified for purposes of making it much more convenient for to bring it to the market. So a lot of how we do food in the United States relates to convenience and money, profit. Okay, so wheat is one of the most genetically modified foods there is on the market. It's not uncommon to go to Europe and be able to eat bread like it's going out of style, but then when you come back to the United States, you can no longer eat it. So they are not genetically modifying. Another thing is much wheat is being sprayed, most wheat is being sprayed with something called glyphosate, which is Roundup. And Roundup is a desiccant, and it helps the grain of wheat all ripen at the same time. So you can see how that would be convenient for farmers to have all the wheat ready at once, right? So, and glyphosate is a probable carcinogen. In fact, there's a groundskeeper from California who was just awarded millions of dollars because of some cancer, very serious cancer that is life-threatening. So it is a probable carcinogen. Okay, so so those two things are huge. And there are wheats out there today, one in particular that I recommend to my clients, because I am a healthy living coach and I do coaching, and that is einkorn wheat. Okay, einkorn wheat has not been genetically modified, and if you're getting it organic means it's not sprayed with things like herbicides and pesticides. Okay, so that those two things alone can have the potential to really change and make that wheat more user-friendly, if you would, safer to eat, in other words. So yeah, so you know, to think that bread is a bad food, particularly since the blue zone Icaria, Greece, they eat a lot of bread. In fact, there are cultures in the world that don't have any of the health issues that we have today, or very little of them. They aren't overweight. They have less cancer, less autoimmunity, less heart disease, all of those kinds of things. And they're eating lots and lots of carbohydrates in the form of whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. So, so it's probably more an issue of, yeah, the processing. So, you know, going back to the whole grains in place of processed grains is going to serve you well. It's going to be higher in fiber, which many people are deficient in fiber. And it's one of the reasons many of us get colon cancer. So you can eat whole grains, especially non-genetically modified, especially organic, since many of them are sprayed for convenience purposes and profit. So yeah, so here's another issue that you may want to think about, and that is what are you putting on your bread, right? Because if you're putting tons of butter and fat and things like that, that's going to contribute to a lot of calories, and yes, calories do count. So they're going to contribute to you. It's harder to keep your weight down when you're eating a lot of fat. So yeah, so I hope this has been information that's helpful. Now I do want to make one more point, and that is this. The people from Icaria, Greece, are eating sourdough bread. So yeah, start eating sourdough bread. The only thing is you gotta know the bakery, okay? Because not all sourdough is the same. And once again, a lot of bakeries are going to be using wheat that, if it's not non-GMO and organic, it's not going to really benefit you. So consider that when you're buying your bread. Like I buy my bread from a bakery where I know exactly what wheat they're using, and it's non-GMO, and it's not sprayed with glyphosate, it's organic, and it's a sourdough. So I hope this has been helpful. No need to kind of demonize bread if you know these things. So use them to your advantage and enjoy them. Don't overeat them, but that's true of almost anything I can think of. So have a good day. Bye-bye.